let's get started. Season 3, Episode 2. And before we get into it, we shall do a little recap for last week's episode. So, last week we began Season 3 of the Wenches of Waydora, with the party split and traumatized. Calliope awakens in a dreamlike state to an endless library in a sea of white. She picks up a book off of one of the shelves, and a title forms on the cover. The Wenches of Waydora, Volume 3, The Curse of Phantasmo Hollow. She shooketh. All the pages seem to be mirrors as she catches glimpses of herself and her companions while flipping through the pages. Suddenly, the very same tiefling that terrorized her in the woods of Phantasmo appeared again and then disappeared quickly in one of the pages. Had a quick little smile on his face, disappeared like that. Calliope kind of jumped back. Her reflection then in one of the pages then morphed back into her undead state. Her nose began to bleed, and then we fade to black. Meanwhile, Anya realizes that her, Valdrik, Diamor, a dead Nox, a soulless Calliope, and the embryo containing Calliope's soul were all teleported to the pocket dimension of Phantasmo Hollow, just outside the circus fairgrounds, which is literally just as crazy as it sounds. Anya deals with the loss of Nox and discovers a locket on his corpse with her picture in it. Her and Diamor exchange a few words about their current situation. Diamor tries to dimension door his way out of there real quick. It didn't repeat. Hold on one second. Here we go. Didn't work. He realizes some sort of magic is tethering everyone there. It's kind of a one-way deal. People were able to teleport to Phantasmo, obviously, but can't get out of there. You guys made it there through Diamor's ring. Pimble supposedly made it there through his cufflinks. Every member of the Phantasma Circus has this magical item that lets them teleport to and from Phantasmo. Quick clarification there. So Anya tends to Valdrik and is able to stabilize her with a healing potion. Valdrik is exhausted from the battle and the delivery and is hardly able to move. She asks where Solara is at. So then we switch over to Solara. High above her hometown of Wind's Peak, in a secluded cave carved into a mountain range, Solara finds herself with her captor, Wenches, aka real name Cabris. One of his wings is torn very severely, and he is badly wounded. Solara tries to heal some of his wounds, but is unable to mend his wing, which was nearly severed by Diamor's Vorpal Blade, which he calls the Keeper of Eclipius, apparently. Wenches, whose real name is Cabris, like I said, reveals to Solara that they were destined to mate. He claims that every soul Solara has ever claimed has been sent to him in the Nine Hells to torment, and they now reside on his ship. The blood of every kill Solara has ever made makes up the blood sales of the ship Wenches. So he's a dude named Wenches, and he named his ship Wenches. So Vengeance riding Vengeance. He says that he has been keeping an eye on her since her birth, creepy, and upbringing here in Wind's Peak. Solara knew some of this information from Vecna, but not all, and she relays that to him. She decides to send a message to Anya via the sending spell, and the two of them updated each other on their current situations. Meanwhile, Calliope tries the same thing by downing a bottle of blueberry wine in her dream state and sending a message down the bond to Valdrik, who receives it. And if you remember, they have this bond via Valdrik's deity, the Saz Father, where if they both are inebriated to some extent, intoxicated to some extent, they are able to send each other telepathic messages, and they both have these tattoos that were placed from the Saz Father. So she sends this message down the bond. Valdrik receives it. Calliope then decides to pick up another book off the shelf. This book has a chalice on the front cover. As she turns the pages, several images of different types of spirits fill the pages. Ghost, wraith, things like that. She was again starting to bleed from her nose, and then we fade to black again. So back at Phantasmo, the rest of the party makes their way through the tent flap and realize that Phantasmo is vacant. They are seemingly packed up for their tour across Waydora. They catch a quick glimpse of a tiefling in the far distance before it vanishes, spookily. They make their way to the wagons, and only Diamor's, Valdrik's, and Pimble's remain, as Valdrik's plumes of purple smoke begin to rise as it senses her approach. Valdrik went straight into her bed in her wagon, but soon the party was met by a knock at the door of the wagon. Anya, just rolling her eyes in true Anya fashion, opens it, finds little man Count Pimble Lunarcore shouting about something. Is just like, yeah, whatever. Grabs him by the collar, chucks him in there, shoves him inside the wagon. Aine and Valdrik then try to explain what was happening with the curse and the Saz father and everything, while Diamor and Pimble took in this information. There was a long back and forth as they discussed each other's intentions, and then at which point my internet cut out, and we kind of just interrupt that conversation and leave it for this session. So that's what happened last week. But finally, concluding things, meanwhile, Solara and Vengeance were at a crossroads before Vengeance finally asked for help with his wing, and Solara was talking about heading down to her hometown. And before heading down to Wind's Peak, Solara asked Vengeance if he knows how to get to Phantasmo Hollow. And that is where we begin things here. So, switching gears here. As always, gotta start out with Vengeance's theme song of the Batman. Let's start right there, actually. Okay. So last episode, Solara's like, by the way, do you like have any chance, by any chance, happen to know like how to get to Phantasmo?
And he promised, pretty sure he pinky promised, he would not try to fight Diamor.
He did. The two of you had a discussion about it was kind of tense between the two. Solara was thinking about like just to heck with it, you idiot. But there's a back and forth, and they did. Vengeance did swear to Solara that if they did end up back at with their group, which he knows Diamor is with them, that he won't start anything with Diamor. And he gave Solara his word. So whatever that's worth to Solara, that's for her to decide. Time will tell.
And like thinking like, we didn't say Diamor won't start anything with him.
It's true.
We'll see when that comes. Whatever.
It's true.
But I guess seeing as I think you said it's like 10 o'clock at night or something.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
As you're looking over, you're having this conversation. The last bits of sunlight are fading and have been for a while. As you guys are you were administering some aid to Vengeance, trying to fix his wing and all that, and darkness has fallen. So you ask if he knows how to get to Phantasmo, and he says a dark smirk kind of appears on his face, and he says, "Don't tell me you've been swindled into that ridiculous circus too."
Well, we don't have to talk about that. Anyways, that's just where they might most likely are. They definitely are there. Yeah, we might have a show. That's not relevant. Sorry. It was pretty cool though. You should have seen it. No, you shouldn't. Anyways. Okay, and then I think seeing it as it is, pretty dark, and your wings kind of like falling off there. We should probably like just stay the night. I'll sleep over here. You don't have to sleep. I don't really care. But you over there, and then like maybe bright and early, if you can get us there, let's go. Please.
I can't go anywhere with this wing like this.
Do you do you need more healing? Is it the sword?
Yes. There's not much healing that can be done for it. Unless you were to find... And he's trying to recollect how to fix this problem, because he's gotten into scuffles with Diamor before, possibly, you think. And he's trying to recollect the last time this happened, or if this ever did happen, what the cure was for it. And he says, maybe your mentor can help. Father Zathier.
Father Zathier.
Does he make potions? Or healing methods?
I mean, he's a great healer, I would say. He probably dabbles in potions. Definitely is a good healer, though.
There's a periapt of wound closure that would fix this. Simple spell work won't, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, I don't know if he's back in Wind's Peak. Last he was at the Southern Temple. But I guess we could see if he's back in Wind's Peak. Maybe he could be in Wind's Peak. We could check. Otherwise, can you get us anywhere? Or or is his wing just is it so messed up he's got to get it healed?
Yeah,
it's falling off. It's bad. Okay.
When you did your medicine check last episode, I think you rolled a 16 or something. Yeah, it's hanging on by a fray, and he barely.
Okay.
Remember, if you remember when he teleported you, he immediately collapsed, and was just down for the count. And he says, "We should wait until morning, and if you can find that, I can take us to Phantasmo. I've never been, but my father has been.
Okay.
He knows how to get there, and he told me a way."
And you won't tell him that we're going there, will you?
If you were to ask me that, maybe a day ago I would say yes, or I would lie to you. But I'm tired of being the errand boy for my father.
Oh. That's,
So now I'm inclined to keep this secret from him.
Okay, well, I hope, it works out for everyone, not your father. All right, let's go to bed. And wait, can I send him a sending message to Father Zathier to see if he's in Wind's Peak?
Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna be quick. I'm gonna say, hey Father, it's Solara. Quick question. Are you in Wind's Peak right now? Need some healing help. That's it.
Okay.
And I'll send that. And I think you want me to roll to see if actually. Well, I guess if we're in the same plane.
Yeah.
We are.
I can't reveal that information to you anyways, so
Okay.
You should roll anyways, and just tell me if it's a 1 or not, and I'll keep that to myself.
Okay. Well, I guess if I get a response from him, it's definitely not a 1. It's an 18.
Okay. Yeah. So if I remember correctly, he can respond with 25 words or less. Okay.
Yeah, he's familiar.
It takes a minute, and then in your head, you hear a telepathic response from Father Zathier, and he says, "I am in Wind's Peak. I'm preparing for the funeral of your father tomorrow."
No. I'm not going to that. But
At our old
okay,
temple.
that's good to know.
Ew.
Laura's not going to that. Okay. Alright, well, I'll tell Vengeance. Good news. Seems he is in Wind's Peak, so we can go see him first thing in the morning.
Very well.
Okay. Cut to dark.
I'll make a fire for us for the night, and I won't bother you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And camera zooms into the fire as it crackles, and we switch scenes.
Laura avoiding eye contact
Yeah,
as it crackles.
Do. Yeah.
So silly.
She's having Nesta vibes of the cracking of her father's neck.
There's a lot of vibes, yeah.
Yeah, from
Why
the...
didn't I see his head like explode or something?
You
did.
Yep. It was
Yeah.
in
He's like on like a it was crazy.
in a very Breaking Bad fashion. The head was affixed to, I think, a turtle, and it exploded.
Oh. Yep, that was it. That was it.
So that was terrible. Meanwhile, we switch over to the inside of the wagon, and little Count Pimble Lunacore is still being grabbed by his hair or his shirt or something by Anya, and is saying, "I say, put me down at this instance."
I forget why I was holding him up. I think to get him to listen.
He's losing his mind. His teeny tiny little mind.
Listen here, Pinball. You need to convert, or else bad things are gonna happen, and that's just when I'm done with you.
What kind of religion would force conversion? And pinball? How dare you!
Oh, I don't follow this religion, so I'm not forcing anyone. The religion is not forcing, I am forcing. So it'd be much better for you if you just shut up and convert.
He kind of looks warily from Anya over to Valdrik for reassurance.
Yeah. I mean, listen. It's not ideal, is it? But it is what it is. And unfortunately, your fate is now maybe tied to the rest of Waydora, and that's a hefty thing to carry on your shoulders, but I'll tell you how to lift that weight. By following the Saz father, who, mind you, he's great for our profession in particular. Really, you should look at it as a business venture. That you follow him, and that maybe he sends talent to you. We get more talent for the circus. You love talent for the circus, people. You love that.
I do. I see where this is going. Go on. You have my attention at talent.
Let's have a little drink, and a little chat, and a little. Valdrik at this point is like slumped in that bed. Like, we're gonna have a little drink. Do you want a little drink? Just gonna like rummage above her and just kind of like half-heartedly hand a bottle of something to Pimble, something from the upper shelves of her leftover depression pit of a bed. She's gonna grab a bottle and hand it to him. Just have a little drink of that. We'll have a little chat and talk about the Saz father, and the Saz father is great, and how he's gonna help with your talent. And then we'll have a little talk with the Saz father. After we have some more little drinks, he'll maybe come and talk.
Yeah, you randomly pull a bottle of deep wine as you reach back, and he looks at it, flips it over on the label side, brushes some dust off of it, and kind of eyes widen. Haven't had a drink like this since we hired you on. Oh, I suppose drink is in order. What do you say, Diamor? And he looks up at the whatever 6'9", however tall Diamor is, and Diamor, I suppose, and very well. And he pops off the bottle. Now in a little bit better spirits, goes and gets some glasses and starts pouring some deep wine. Not much, about that much he pours because he knows how potent the stuff is, and hands a glass. Are you drinking, Valdrik?
Valdrik would take the glass, but she's for sure like disassociating right now in this bed, just thinking about everything that's happened, everything that's to come, and starting to process the poor decisions.
Oh, two new chapters. What do you say?
Love new
Cheers.
chapters. Cheers.
And he clinks and he takes a sip. And for the little man that he is, there is a lot of weight vertically. For the alcohol to disperse through his system, so he's holding it pretty well. But deep wine is a very, very, very potent alcohol. And if I pull up my home brews, do you remember? Okay, there it is. Just for perspective, Kyle and Charlotte, deep wine is the alcoholic equivalent to Westweed. It's a dark, rich substance, almost a chocolatey flavor with Valdrik as you're drinking it. It's got a very spicy, like bitey aftertaste, like you're drinking like liquid, big red chewing gum, but not like the cinnamon. It's just the bite of it, not like the actual taste. And you just feel a liquid warmth wash over your body from head to toe. And he shivers really quick. Diamor seems unfazed by it, takes a sip, just kind of grunts. Yeah. Go ahead and... Did you say you drink, or you're just kind of swirling it?
I'm just gonna swirl it and kind of stare into the glass.
Okay. You see Pimble after a bit looks like he's now disassociating, and is kind of like putting his hands out like a mime. Didn't I have 6 of these? No, 4.
2, sir.
He starts like smelling his fingers. He's just like he's acting really weird, and starts going over and pulling some of your instruments off of your wall. Some of the older stuff that you haven't played in a while. Maybe you have like a violin up there, or like a little, just a lowly flute. You know, nothing special like
Lots
your
of
DOS flute.
flutes.
Probably. He grabs one and he starts playing the flute with his nostrils. And it sounds terrible. Roll performance for him really quick. Yeah, it's terrible.
Wow, that's absolutely just so unique. I've never heard it played like that before. That's wow.
Is everything great for you?
Oh,
Is
no wonder you find the talent.
Yeah, really. That's definitely a song that you're playing, I think.
It feels thick in here. The air, like I could cut it with a knife. Is everything?
Yes.
Is everyone looking in color, or does everyone see everything in gray?
I think you need another drink.
I say, Anya, give me that. And he starts, pours another small glass, takes another sip, yeah, everything I just described now 2x, doubled. Acting just as silly, kind of doing somersaults around the floor. So you see this little pinball. His hat's getting crinkled. And he starts dancing to no music at all. Everyone's just kind of wiped at this point, and he's just like, "There should be music, Valdrik! Get your lute! Play me something of the that you played at your audition!"
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Valdrik's gonna take out her DOS lute and play like a sad dirge rendition of like Sweet Caroline. It's like the saddest, most like a minor key womp womp that you've ever heard.
Okay. Roll a performance check with disadvantage if you're still exhausted. Because you're just like your eyes are getting heavy.
Where's my?
Hello.
There's Proud Shadow.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Yeah. It's the ballad comes through, and at first people are like, but then the minor key kind of grows on them, and yeah, he's loving it. He's dancing along to it. Yeah, and what do you do next?
I'm gonna try to like call him the Saz father. Be like, hello. Here is the next ring of the puzzle that you asked for. Here he is. I bring him to you now.
Ah, yes, the long-awaited Pimble. And you can tell that he also is hearing this. And he jumps and he kind of snaps out of his state.
Yeah, all right.
I say, anyone hear that? Or is
Yeah.
there's someone at the door? And he runs to the door of the wagon, opens it up, almost stumbles out a little bit.
I'm gonna grab him, pull him in, and slam the door.
Okay.
And just stand in front of the door.
Yeah, this time
Like a bouncer.
instead of saying "unhand me," he goes "wee" as you drag him through the wagon, his little legs.
Poor buddy.
He enjoys this one.
Pimble, it's all right. It's okay. No, this. You remember we were talking about this before? This is gonna happen. We're gonna have a chat. Like a little fun. It's like a party business thing. We're mixing it. It's like a mullet meeting. You know what I'm saying? Just the front party and the back.
Yes, and say I indulged you in your I indulged you in your quest to find more followers of the Faz Father. Say hypothetically, I played along. What would the next step for Count Pimble be here?
I'm gonna look at the Saz father.
Well, ask him. Go on, Valdrik. You've been through this song and dance before. The bubbles are flowing in your favor.
I'm supposed to ask him to join the religion. This is the moment.
Yeah, that's what you're deducing from this moment.
Yeah. Okay. Bimble, from her spot in her like blanket fort of a bed. Bimble, do you want to walk beside the followers of the Saz Father and dance forever under his grace in the moonlight and the sunlight and the starlight, dancing and singing?
Is this a permanent treaty contract?
You know, permanent. Is anything really permanent? Truly, life is so finite, and nothing is everlasting, really, in the grand scheme of things. When you think about it.
Make a persuasion check. This time, it's going to be a straight roll because it would be advantage, which would cancel out your disadvantage. So, straight roll.
Is this a persuasion or a deception?
Well, you're trying to persuade him to follow the Saz Father. Unless you're trying to deceive him somehow, it's up to you.
I know. 24.
Okay. He says, kind of looking a little bit more somber now, says, mere hours ago, I was almost flayed my mind. Let me say the words again. I seem to be a little bit intoxicated. Mere hours ago, my mind was almost flayed. You remember that? You were there, right? I feel like I saw you there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely saved you from that situation, but we'll get back to that.
I had counted myself out of this world. That was all I had to offer. And somehow, I live. Not only do I live, I am back here. And you say this is because of your Saz Father and his teachings and his ways of grace and love and bubbles and drink that I am to live and have some sort of destiny in the stars and the ranks of the drink?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yes. You can tell he's like just like making stuff up.
Yeah.
Intriguing, isn't it? I agree. Yes.
Super Solar.
I shall become one with the Sazfather. Or at least drink in his name. And you say I will find talent because of this.
Sazfather, I mean, I follow Sazfather. You'd be surprised how so many members of Phantasmo are currently following the Sazfather. Orangelo, Lilith, a Twivel, so many, everyone. You're just now you're in the club, you're in the party.
What about him? And he points to Diamor.
You get him later. I'll get him later. That's, he's a toughie. You remember? You were just saying, you scolded him as soon as you walked in here, and that, let me tell you, goes hand in hand with the problem, truly. But you, Pimple, you're not a problem.
No, not a problem at all. In fact, you've
Not
caught
a
me
problem.
in an intoxicated mood. Yes, yes. Cheers to the Sazfather and to the drink. I lay my life at the feet of the Sazfather. And with that, he chugs the rest of his deep wine and just falls back on his back. Starfish is in the middle of the wagon, passes out drunk. And in an instant, you see a brief cloud kind of form in the roof of your wagon, and a barrel with a smile, a big smile, appears in it, and you hear, and then it kind of, in a puff of smoke, vanishes.
I'm really starting to think this is a very, very bad situation. Valdrik is laying down on her pillow, about to depart the world.
Yeah. I'd say there's enough room in this wagon that should be able to comfortably fit all of you for a long rest, should you so choose.
I'm gonna put my hand like this so that I don't have to look at Diamor, and I'm gonna go, Anya. Anya.
What?
I'm not saying that I was in the wrong, but say I was, and I feel like maybe I've made a really bad decision somewhere along the way.
Following the Sazfather?
That's, we don't have to give specifics. I'm just wondering. I just, food for thought. Also, please don't leave me alone in the room with the ammo. Please.
Oh, you won't be alone. You've got a drunk McGee over here.
No, please, Anya. Anya, please.
Diamor kind of reads the tension of the room and says, well, I'll keep watch for the night. Sleep well, I suppose, and I will see you all in the morning. All right. And turns, opens the wagon door, and stands outside. Just like Nox once did.
This way, it's the wenches of Waydora. Men don't last long in our party. And that's the vibe. Valdrik's going that night.
Okay. Alright, so Calliope, Valdrik, Solara. Oh, sorry, I said Calliope. Solara, Valdrik, Anya, go ahead and take a long rest. I didn't really mention it, but one of you should be keeping track of camping supplies. I feel like Isabeau does a really good job of like note taking and is like the detailed note taker. So if someone else maybe wants to, I'll kind of facilitate it. If someone else wants to track like total camping supplies for the group and just kind of track that in your brand new book, your notebook that I got you. I'll say, Charlotte, you want to take care of that or not?
I suppose.
All right, one of you has to. So
Lydia.
I have voluntold Charlotte.
Voluntold.
Yes. So Charlotte has been voluntolded.
So we have
80.
You have 80. It's going to cost you 30 because in Calliope's current state, she does not need to do camping supplies to take her long rest. But go ahead and reset your spell slots and your health. Go ahead and roll your health, which I know you guys are low.
I know health doesn't matter for me, but do I get all of my spell slots back?
Time will tell. Time will tell for you.
Ah, okay.
Speaking of Calliope, we will switch over to her scene.
Oh, yeah.
Calliope, once again, you find yourself in the white, massive, endless labyrinth of library. You get deja vu again. This is your third time at the beginning of this dream. And you see the library of the bookshelves in front of you, endless from vertical to horizontal. What do you do?
Does anything seem different, or is it like the exact same? Do I notice anything different from there?
Make a perception check.
Well,
12.
yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. As far as like structurally, everything seems the same, but it's hard to tell. Like with the books specifically, you can't remember if you've seen the spines of the books before, or if they're different books. As you get closer and kind of look at the shelves, you didn't seem to note what it looked like the first time around.
Okay. And thinking, can I tell? Will probably cost me another roll. Can I tell if there's any sort of like magic going on, or any like traces of magic where I am? Thinking back on when I was talking to Valdrik through our link, she had asked if it was an illusion. I feel like that would be something I would think about and go, is there any sort of like magic that I don't recognize, or anything that looks...
Make a Arcana check.
$16.
Okay. In your studies as a wizard, and during your time traveling with a cleric of the grave domain, which I believe is Solara, discussions may have happened during your downtime of the afterlife, your current material life, and limbo, what's in between. You get the sense that this is a limbo-like state. You don't feel like it's an illusion. You don't feel like this is any sort of like spell or hex or curse, at least not in your conscious state. It just feels like an in-between life and death.
Okay. I guess I'm just gonna go towards another bookcase and pull another book off there.
Okay. What are you hoping for it to be? What are you looking for in your mind?
For Calliope, probably like one of two things. Either like info on wherever I am, or like how to try to get out, like trying to find like information of what this is, and probably spells. I feel like would be her thought.
Okay.
She's open to all knowledge, but specifically for magics and whatever is like happening to her in that moment. So.
Okay. All right. You pull out a book with a green spine and a green cover. It's got white lettering on it. The lettering again is that chicken scratch language that doesn't really make any sense. And on the front cover, you just kind of see lines, wavy lines going back and forth. You're not really sure what it means. You're kind of waiting for them to like form words, like they did last time, but they don't. and it could be wind, it could be a symbol. You're not really sure. So you open that book up, and you see more chalices like you did before, and you kind of flip through the pages to find just more. Yeah, trying to think how I want to put this. The first page, words do form, and it says, "The Chalice of Spirit Revelation." And you start flipping through, and it's actually like a book. It's like paragraphs, chapters. You're starting to read this information, and as you do, it's talking about all the different types of spirits that you saw in the previous book. But this time it's giving you much more detailed information about them, of how to find, almost like a hunting expertise, how to find these types of spirits, and what to do when you think you found one, which spirits cause the air around you to be cold, which spirits leave physical marks behind, stuff like this. And you're kind of flipping through the pages again in your thirst for knowledge, as Calliope tends to have as a wizard. You're flipping through, eager to keep reading, and you get to a page, and all of a sudden it's nothing like any of the other pages in the book. It almost looks like a window into the material world, and you're peering into it. You're kind of wary because of what happened in Northwind when you got sucked through that book. You realize you're still in this like dreamlike state, so you're like, kind of curious about what this page is. And you see a figure forming, and you see a tiefling sleeping on a bedroll next to a fire, in what looks like to be a cave.
Can I tell if it's Solara?
Make a perception check.
21.
Yeah, you definitely recognize it to be Solara. And she looks to be sound asleep, and across from the fire is some other figure who you've never seen. Actually, no, that's a lie. You get recollection of being on the ship with this figure. Long black shoulder length hair, black tunic, black cape with a red in between, with massive wings that you never saw before, just kind of in a trance-like state on the other side of the fire.
Am I able to tell if this is a one-way or a two-way? Like, if I called out to her, would she hear me?
Why don't you make an attempt and find out?
Okay, I'm gonna look at it and go, Solara? And then if it goes Solara louder to see if it's
Solara, you are barely into your full night's rest before you wake up to hearing your name being called.
Okay. I guess I would sit up, look around, probably not see anything.
You're looking for a figure.
Did I think it like sounded like Calliope's voice, like a little bit? Was that kind of? So I think that if I thought it was her, it would have definitely like jolted me up.
Yeah, if she's repeating your name about the third or fourth attempt, you're like, oh my gosh, that's Calliope, and you're like, Calliope, like you're looking for where she is, and you realize the voice is coming from a small puddle of water in the cave.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna slowly crawl just towards that puddle. I'm
Okay.
Calliope?
Yeah, the two of you are now looking at each other, and you can see and hear each other perfectly. Solara, this is the first time you've seen Calliope like fully dressed, fully clean. You haven't seen her like this in a very long time. She's been undead for the most of the time, looking undead, looking grayish for the most of the time that you've been with her. Yeah, in that green dress, looks completely clean, and you guys see and talk and hear each other through this puddle. So you're like on the ground, like Calliope.
Wait, I look crazy.
Yeah.
Calliope? How is this? Oh, where are you?
I don't know. It seems like I'm in limbo.
Oh,
I was able to contact Valdrik by drinking some blueberry wine. But it sounds like my body is it's barely breathing on their end.
oh. Yeah, I think they're in Phantasmo Hollow. Somehow that's where. I'm not sure if that's where Diamor took them, but yeah, we got separated, unfortunately. I
can't
don't
remember.
know what kind of magic this is. I don't think.
It's a long hallway full of bookcases with books in them. I've been randomly pulling them off the shelf in here.
Have you seen anything else so far?
Anyone
else?
I have seen the tiefling from Phantasmal Hollow that messed with me. Kind of jumped out at a page at me, but he disappeared. So, but there's nobody else here. There's no other magic. The hallway seems to go on.
Okay. I can't imagine Solara would know. Like, I don't even know. I don't really know if this. She's not very. She's just, she's just a cleric. This might be above her Arcana knowledge.
I've seen a lot of chalices on the books here. This one, the first couple of pages, had a bunch of chalices on them. I don't know what it means, but it's the second book that has had this chalice. Is it the exact same chalice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
It's the second time I've seen this exact same chalice on a book.
Okay. Well, I really just have no idea. Can you take this whatever, but we're essentially looking through, like, she's looking into a book right now, right?
Yeah. And she can even, like, if you flip back a few pages, Calliope, you still see the writing, you still see the paragraphs, and then you flip to this, like, chapter, and it's, like, a cave of a live FaceTime of Solara.
Okay. And I can't, like, reach into the puddle, right? I don't know.
You can try.
Okay. I'm just gonna tap it. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna tap the puddle. I'm not gonna stick my whole arm in it or anything crazy.
We don't.
Okay. Well, do I add anything? It's a 19 on the dice.
It'll be investigation.
Okay. 30-20.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of tap the water and it ripples out, and you see Calliope's face kind of ripple a bit, but it feels like water, and you press even a little bit further, and it's just only like half an inch deep, and it's just you hit rock. It's the cave floor. As she does that, it's like I said, it looks like FaceTime. It, like on Calliope's end, it just looks like
she's like, I just warped her face.
It literally just looks like this. It doesn't, like, the finger doesn't go through. It just
okay.
like you're poking her.
All right, Calliope. Well, I have to say I have no idea how to help you right this second. I will be seeing Father Xavier in the morning. You should keep that book on you for now. Maybe say, I don't know, she has no track of time. I'm like 12 hours from now. Just keep checking back. Just take this book with you. Are you able to, like, take the book off the shelf with you?
I mean, I was able to pull it off. I'm gonna put it in my bag and we'll see what happens. Oh, before I forget, the book is called The Chalice of Spirit Revelation. Maybe Father Xavier will know what that means. if you don't.
Chalice of Spirit.
I almost forgot about that, and then I remembered that I had it
Revelation.
in my notes.
Okay.
I was like, that.
Chalice of, and okay. So I'll write that down. Okay, and then
And then I'll put this
obviously
in my...
we have no way of knowing if we'll actually see if this will work again even. But I will
That's
try
true.
tomorrow. I will yell into a puddle of water or like a thing. It can't just be this puddle. We have to assume it's connected to me, not this cave. But we could be wrong.
That's true.
But I'm still gonna try yelling into a puddle tomorrow.
Push comes to shove, if you can get to Valdrik, she can have something to drink and get in contact with me. And I also have like half a bottle of blueberry wine and some champagne that I am putting away so I can talk to her.
Gotta survive somehow. Okay. Yes. Like I said, I have to stop and see Father Xavier tomorrow and try to figure out how to get to Phantasmo Hollow. But I will try my best to talk to you soon. Anyways, I hope you find out more information. Feel free to yell into this book, and next if you need me, we'll see if that works too. Like I said, I have no idea how this works. We're just gonna wing it, Calliope.
Or if not, I'll put it in my bag. We'll see what happens.
Yep, I'm just gonna like Calliope.
And as you guys are wrapping up this conversation, Solara, you see behind Calliope, at this point, the background's kind of been foggy. You only have seen Calliope's face. All of a sudden, you see a figure kind of come into view with two horns. And then quickly, you see this tiefling really quick. And then everything fades to black.
But I don't see any of this because it's not reflective. It's just like, oh no.
Yep. You kind of see a look of fright from Solara's face really quick, and then the book just shuts. And
Call dropped.
I feel like after that look, I would turn around to see if there was anything behind me.
There is nothing behind you, and
I'm gonna put the book in my pocket. I'm holding on to this one. It's not going on the shelf.
Okay. All right. And at that point, I believe we will do a full rest. Nothing happens throughout the night. You got Big Daddy Diamor keeping watch of the wagon. As far as the cave, nothing happens. You don't really hear anything throughout the night. But we'll start with Solara. So actually, did you guys roll all your health and everything, get your spell slots? Except for you, Calliope. We'll get to that at some point. At some point, oh no. Let's see. All right. Do you guys want to take a break now? Now be a good time to take a break. 5-minute potty break, get some water, and then we'll reconvene.
Let's do it.
All right. Morning breaks for Solara as you are met with the beaming sunshine into the cave. You wake up from your little bedroll. The fire's still stoked, still going, and you see Vengeance kind of sitting. He kind of made a makeshift like sort of sling for himself for his wing, and you see him like furiously looking over some notes, some parchments as you wake up.
Okay. I'm gonna say, what you doing?
And quickly his parchment papers vanish out of thin air, and he says, I didn't mean to wake you.
No, you're fine. You didn't. But, like, what are you doing? Like, you look like you're in it, whatever you're doing.
I was.
Okay, Is that all? Okay. Seems like that's all I'm gonna get. So, um, yeah. So let's go ahead. Start heading down. I guess. Okay. How far first? How far around? I know we're like up a mountain right now, so I know it's not gonna be like a 5 minute jog to the temple.
Yeah. You are. You kind of take another look as you wake up, gather yourself. You go to the kind of edge of the mouth of the cave. You kind of look down. It's a hill, about a 45-degree angle with trees. You hear a lot of birds chirping. The morning mist is kind of clearing away, clearing out as you see your hometown again. It's probably like a mile down this steep hill before you get to like the first part of Wynd's Peak. You see a couple different landmarks from where you're at. Let's see, pull up one of them being the Temple of Calliope where you grew up. With Father Zathier, it's got pretty tall stone structure, not very colorful, but it's got one massive kind of octagonal shaped structure that is the tallest part of this temple. It's a pretty big temple with a dome ceiling on it and some sort of like steeple on the top, surrounded by some other rooftops and circular towers that have a pointed top, and it's surrounded by trees and everything, kind of nestled in the mountain. So you recognize that. You also see your home that you grew up in, Darrow Manor, very rich estate that you and your family grew up in. Probably the most expensive looking piece of structure other than the temple down at Wynd's Peak. The Darrow family, very extravagant people, arrogant, snotty, and their house definitely looks like it. It's got not shiplap. What is that? It's like the German. You know what I'm talking about. That outside look, the boards, the coloring of the walls. I don't really know how to say it, but German infrastructure. And it's got one big prominent tower shaped like a cone. It's got another pointed top, a couple chimneys because yeah, why not? There's a few fireplaces because they can, and it's right along a nice quaint little cobblestone road. You do see some smoke billowing from one of the chimneys at this point, and everything else is just kind of, you know, little structures here and there that you grew up around, but those are the two prominent structures. But to answer your question, about a mile down this side of this hill.
Okay, cool. All right, so I guess we can make our way that way. Does his wing like look gross? You know, like if you're just looking at it.
Is it nasty?
Hang on.
Is it gross?
I'm gonna. Well, I think if it looks gross, I'm gonna just like take off my cloak and put it on him because I don't need him drawing that kind of attention like to us. And it's like a hooded cloak, so I'm gonna put it just over him and be like, I'm sorry, like I know these people, you know, like they're gonna question, like, you get it, you know, hometown things.
He kind of like looks at you with a blank stare and says, "Do you need me to go with you?"
Well, yeah, you're coming with me. Come on. That was the whole point. We have to go see Father Xathier, right? Do you want that fixed?
I suppose.
Okay. So then, yeah, come on.
And he grabs his cloak, puts it over top as well. Kind of.
Oh yeah, I forgot he has a cloak too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like the black and red one. That's so funny.
Kind of wraps it around himself. And for the first time, you've only ever seen him like hover or fly or float or whatever. For the first time, you see him like walking, and definitely nursing that wing as you guys start to travel traverse down this pretty mild mountain. Like I said, 45-degree angle, so it's definitely a calf workout, even downhill. But yeah, you eventually make your way to the temple, no problem. Is there anything that you talk about on the way there, or is it just silence?
I guess I could ask him. Could ask him something. I guess I would ask, like, how did you come to know about this, this destiny you speak of, Like, how do you know that?
For most of my life, which has been short, I'm only about 82 years old. But since your birth, about 30 years ago, something shifted. Something shifted in the Nine Hells. I felt instantly weaker. I felt a need or a thirst for souls. And when you made your first kill, that thirst was finally quenched. But until that point, I waited. And I watched and I learned. I don't know why this destiny brings us together. But I know what you must become.
Which is?
A tomb guide.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, that's scary. No. I was scared. I don't know what that, dead? Like I must be dead? Okay. Well, that's, this is a lot. Also, I thought it was a joke at first when we were saying, that the blood on your sails is from my kills. But I realize now it's not a joke. And
no joke.
That's actually crazy. I'm kind of processing that still, I think. But yeah, let's just continue on, Father Xathier.
Very well. And continues the silence as you guys make your way to the temple. And you walk up to it. It's very similar to the temple of Kelenvor and Procan that you guys visited in Saltmarsh. Much more bigger, much more extravagant, much older. The temple in Saltmarsh is fairly newly constructed. This one's much older. It's very tall structure. You walk through these tall double doors that kind of come to an arch at the top, probably about 2 or 3 stories high, just the doors. And you walk in, and it's this massive... You walk right into the sanctuary. Massive red carpet laid out from door to altar, with bluish grayish stonework finely laid out for the ground, for the groundwork, the flooring. There's pews on either side, long mahogany, carefully carved out pews that line either side, with pillars that kind of line along the walls, and behind the pillars, long arched windows. And you are met with that familiar, not only scenery, but there's a certain smell, kind of mustiness mixed with wood, mahogany. And it's very nostalgic for you. It's very much smells like home. And this music's a little too ominous for the situation at hand, so we're gonna change to just some ambience room. Ambient room. And yeah, you're back in the temple, back home, and there is Father Xathier. He is at the altar. He's got his little censer of smoke kind of preparing something, and there is a casket right in front of the altar. He's going around lighting some candles with just some magic, snapping his fingers, and the candles are lighting one by one. He's very methodic about it, though, and he doesn't see you walk in until he hears the door close, and he turns around And I don't know. Does he wear glasses? Are there glasses in medieval times? Yes, he totally wears.
Yeah, they're like the little reading glasses, though.
Yes,
You know,
yes. And
like they're always like at the bottom of his nose.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah, and he's always.
Laura.
Yeah, he looks over them, and he says, "I'll say, Solara, welcome home."
It's very good to see you. I'm sorry for the circumstances. Again, I feel I'm always running to you with my problems lately, and I'm a little bit sorry for that. My acquaintance, he was hit by a strange weapon, strange to me, and he seems to think that you can help him.
A strange
So, like,
weapon.
step back.
Yes.
Some type of sword.
This acquaintance of yours. Nice to meet you. I am Father Zathia Welgar Brinehanded, the fourth, probably. And welcome to my temple. We worship Kalimvor here, and you are. And he nods. Cabris nods and says, "Yes, I am Vengeance." And he says, "Vengeance? What exactly are you avenging?" And Cabris just kind of grunts.
It's just a nickname. It's just silly. But it's fun though.
That's like a big thing.
What if we call you Cabe? Does that deal damage? I'm just thinking of a nickname. That's it's like Gabe, but Cabe.
You can call me Gabe. If you wish.
Well, it could be Cabe. I'll say Cabe. Yeah, Cabe with the. Yeah.
And
Fine.
the church structural rumbles around you as you say Cabe, and he says, "Very well, Gabe. May I take a look at the injury?" And he says, "Yes, if I may. We've traveled a long ways. May I have a seat?" "Oh yes, by all means. Take a seat here in one of these pews, and I will take a look." And he takes off his black tunic to reveal his wings and the very deep gash down his left wing. And after no more than 5 seconds, Father Zathier takes a look at it and says, "Yes, vorpal wound by a vorpal blade. Who, if I may ask, were you crossing swords with?" And Cabris says, "My brother." "Your brother?" "Yes." "Do you have quarrel with your brother?" "You don't need to worry about that. How do I fix it?" "Very well. Let me take care of a few more things, and I will see if I can fix this wound. But like I said, it's vorpal wound, so mere magic may not be the trick. Even greater restoration, I'm not sure, will fix this. Let me see what potions I've brought in this past week, if you'll excuse me." And he walks off, gives you a nod, Solara.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry again. So sorry.
There's no problem at all. I just, well, you're staying for the funeral, right? It's your father, after all.
I really don't think they want me there, and, I feel like I just feel like I'm not welcome, and it's okay. I'm good, I think.
A smile kind of forms on his face, and Santa Claus-like chuckle, and he says, "I don't blame you. I don't really want to be in attendance myself, but obviously, being a what's the word? He has a title. Being a Mortarch of the temple, it is my duty to see this through. So, I would advise. Of course, formalities. I must ask that you stay, but you go run along.
Ah,
This scene is
you
not
understand.
for you.
Exactly.
I understand more than most.
It would cause a ruckus. Most
It
likely.
would,
Mm-hmm.
especially
If
in.
Anya were here, maybe. But without Anya, it's definitely a no.
Yes. Oh dear, Anya. Missed that character. Where are the rest of your adventuring bands?
Oh yes. Sorry, I forgot I have more problems to bring up with you. So first of all, are you aware of what the Phantasmo Hollow is?
Can't say that I am.
Okay, well, it's another plane, essentially. My friends are there. My other friend, Calliope, the wizard, the sickly looking
Yes.
wizard girl.
Yes.
She wasn't that sickly looking yet then. Well, essentially, her soul is trapped somewhere else, and I talked to her through a puddle, and I don't know how. And that's honestly the best understanding I have of it in character.
That's all I can tell
that's
you.
that's all I got. That's exactly how Solara describes it.
And you
And I know
didn't.
that might not make sense. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's all I got.
Did you at least try to send her soul on to the afterlife like you've been taught?
Well, her body's still alive. It's just her soul has been, from what I understand, separated. But her body's still hanging on, from what I've been told.
Interesting. And how did this circumstance happen to our poor wizard?
She touched something. A sack. Hey. she. That's what it was. It was like a dark.
She touched
Anyways.
the sack out with her
You
soul.
guys make me laugh.
Sorry. Just
What
the
were
delivery.
what were we calling it? Anyways.
The little embryo?
No, I like
Embryo.
better. For
Well,
sure.
see, Valdrik's god put this embryo of evil something, not baby, but life, not life, who knows, in her, and basically said she needed to fulfill this deal for him, and she birthed the weird embryo thing. Calliope touched it. Apparently her soul is now somewhere, and there's a lot of books. Yeah, I'm sorry, I know it doesn't make sense. That's honestly the best I have. I can explain it to you, Father. But I know it doesn't. This is why I need Anya or Valdrik. They're so much better at this than I am.
You see, as you started explaining this, he quickly pulled out a book and a little piece of charcoal and is scribbling down vigorously everything that you are telling him. And he says, "Yes, very intriguing. I don't think I've ever heard of this deity or anything like this happening. I would take this to my studies."
Peculiar. Yeah, it's quite peculiar.
Yes, indeed it is. Well, it gives me something to study after not having anything for a while. Of course, I'm back in our old stomping grounds after getting the other temple up and running. Give you an
It's much
update
better.
on my end. Yes, I love being much back here. And after Alistair's death, I've been welcomed back into this town much more easily. Astral, as you know, maybe you don't know, he's doing well over at the Temple of Kalanvor and Procan in Saltmarsh. He's up and running, has his own acolytes, has his own clergy. He's doing well for himself, and I felt that it is time for me to move back and continue my ministry here for Calliope. And it is good to see you, and yes, I'm sorry to hear about your friend. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know, but in your current circumstance, it looks like you need some help with that, and emotions to the very, very wounded wing.
Yes.
Yes, I will check our potion supply and see what sort of healing we can... perhaps some holy water would do you good. And at that point, Vengeance... No! Not holy water, please, Father. Anything but that. And Zathier says, very well. Not holy water. Okay. As you were. And he putters back to the back room. And
Like Solara approves that he changed his tone.
yeah. Yeah. And he says, sorry, I didn't mean my outburst. I'm just in a lot of pain. And that would obviously cause me much more pain. But I know it is something that you work with fairly often. I couldn't help but overhear your discussion with the cave last night. And at this point, he finally looks at you and makes eye contact for the first time since this morning. Do you want to talk about it?
You mean outside of Calliope? Is that what you're referencing? I was not crazy. That's what you're insinuating.
I do not believe that you are crazy.
Okay. Did you hear? Did you hear that?
I heard someone in response. Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, sorry. I just figured I was gonna have to explain it once, Father Xavier, so I really just didn't want to say it twice. But since you know now, yeah, I guess it would be helpful if maybe you know anything about that.
She mentioned spirits, beings that are caught between life and death. Yes, I know a bit about that myself. Being one.
But do you know where she might be?
No.
Is she in a true limbo?
It seems like that. And if she's getting visions or whatever of these spirits, perhaps she's becoming one, which would be bad news. But she spoke of chalices.
What are chalices good for?
Well, drinking out of.
That's
But in relation with spirits, I'm not sure. What are chalices good for? Drinking, obviously.
I just didn't know if there was something extra cool. Okay.
Extra cool about chalices.
You never know if there was. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. So it'll take a little bit for Father Xavier to find or to see if we have a potion.
Yeah, if you want to respond to Cabris, or we can just fast forward to that. I'm returning.
Yeah, I was just gonna if it was gonna take a while, I was gonna see if there's anywhere in Wind's Peak that sells camp supplies.
Camp supplies?
I was gonna see if anywhere, while I'm here, I could go buy some real quick. Could just run over there, run back,
And
leave Cabe here.
you want me to stay here?
Yes. You're literally in pain.
I am.
So I'll be 5 minutes.
I'm just surprised that you trust me with your mentor.
Are you gonna do something to him?
Of course not.
Okay.
I gave you my word I wouldn't touch my brother. Why would I want to hurt your priest.
Okay, well then why are you making it seem like you would?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just
Anyways,
No.
don't make it, exactly. It's fine. Please don't do anything to him. It would really hurt my feelings.
10 out of 10,
Okay.
one of the best interactions I've
And
had.
Anya, I'll get Anya to kill you.
I'm just speaking bluntly because I am a demon inside a church. So
Well, this church doesn't really care about demons, It's just like, well, are you undead? I don't really think you're undead, are you?
I
no.
mean,
Okay, then Calliope doesn't care.
Well, that's good
Okay,
to know.
yeah,
So,
he's always looking for disciples,
Okay. Yeah, so at that point, we should probably switch back to the morning Phantasmo with Valdrik and Anya and the gang. This is still kind of creepy, but it's not as creepy as it sounds. All right. Valdrik, Anya, you wake up. Pimble is still starfished on the ground, flat and center of the wagon.
do that to you.
Diamor's not in the wagon, and you still have. Did you carry the dead body of Nox with you?
Yes, but we left him out. I probably need to bury him.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
What about the embryo?
I think that and Calliope's body we took into the wagon.
Okay. Yeah, Calliope's body still looks almost more stunned than dead. It's kind of like, probably compare it to in Harry Potter when Hermione was paralyzed by the basilisk. That kind of look.
Petrified.
Petrified is the word. That's the word I'm looking for. Petrified. That's not the technical condition, but
Tell
that's how she looks. Yeah. So Calliope looks petrified. Her embryo is still there, pulsating, beating. Pimble is snoring loudly, starfished. Little bit of deep wine spilt now on his chest as his chalice, his wine glass or whatever he had, is just in his hand, starfish. I'd say Valdrik, you're probably the first to wake. You were probably the first to sleep, and at this point, you can remove all levels of exhaustion from your body as you feel very much well rested after a very traumatic day. Very traumatic day.
I'm having a really bad time.
And Anya, you shortly wake up after her. Not really sure what time it is. Time is weird in Phantasmo.
As soon as I see Anya's eyes open, I'm gonna lean over and be like, "Listen to me. I've had a lot of time to think about this. I have a lot of thoughts. I think the first thing. Good morning. I think the first thing is that we had no other choice, right? She was gonna die. She was. But I think also this is really bad, right? What we're doing. He's probably a bad man, right? I'm trying to talk quietly. Do you think gods can hear you if you whisper?
Probably. And also, I think you're asking me questions you already know the answer to.
Her morning breath mixed with a little bit of alcohol is just hitting you first thing in the morning, Anya, and you're just like,
Do you think it's... what do you think it would... Anya,
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like I need validation or something. I feel lost. I feel like there's a lot that's happened. I feel like a failure.
I mean, I think we need to get Diamor in here, and you need to convert him so we can be done with this.
But
That's
then
what I think.
I'm a little concerned. Listen, I'm a little concerned, alright? What happens if we do the thing that he tells us to do, but maybe it's the wrong thing to do, and then terrible things happen after we do the thing that he told us to do? That's kind of where I'm at right now, and I don't know what to do.
I mean, I feel like you should have thought about this before you chose him as your god, but I think
Well,
at this
alright.
point,
Listen,
If
it was
it's-
fun and games until the birthing of the death pod and the soul-sucking thing. That wasn't really in the whole spiel.
right, well, you seem to have his favor, so let's just, it'd be nice to get Calliope back from wherever she is. So let's just go ahead and,
Should we have a shot first?
what?
Is it too early for a shot? Should we have a little slam it back?
You know, at this point, is alcohol really the solution?
I don't know, but it might help with the solution. If it's too soon, it's too early.
It's not going to help that morning breath, that's for sure.
That's alright.
That's the Captain Drake in you speaking about having a shot first thing.
Alright, well. Fuck. Valdrik's gonna sit up and kind of like smooth out her fucking horror show of the head.
Yeah, you have a vanity in there as well. Like you have all your like little makeup supplies, both
yeah.
the clown makeup and the regular makeup.
I'm going to find the open bottle of deep wine, take a swig right from the bottle, and then I'm going to go out and tell Diomore that he needs to come inside and talk with Valdrik.
Yeah. Valdrik's gonna just like kind of part it on the other side, stand up and like straighten herself out. And also like grab for some bottle in the shelves and just take a quick swig before. Yeah. Alright.
All right. Yeah, Valdrik, you happen to grab some blueberry wine. You take a swig. Anya, you take a swig of deep wine. Throw it back and make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Good, I'm proficient at it.
She was like, it was all planned.
18. I have a +8.
Okay.
A monster!
Constitution.
Yeah, for a brief second, everything flashes gray. You get a sense of this weird smell, almost like saline, and it quickly goes away. World turns back to color, and kind of shake it out of your head. Open the door, and you see Diomore there leaning against the wagon, and he looks ready for the day.
It's your turn for conversion. Let's go.
And he like kind of slow turns and looks at you. Valdrik. And
Hope your breath is better than hers. Let's go.
and he's like, fine. And he quick, I don't know if you guys saw, he quick does a breath check and opens the wagon door, ducks his head in as he is very tall, and finally for once like looks Valdrik like in the eye as she's kind of like freshening herself up at her vanity and says, what happened to my wagon?
You know damn well what the fuck happened to your wagon. Let me tell you what the fuck happened to your wagon. Valdrik's gonna reach into her pocket and pull out the note that Diomore left for her and toss it at his feet.
Yes.
Will you ask me again what happened to your wagon?
Which says, if you wouldn't mind, do you
Oh.
know what that note says?
Yeah, my light doth stars envy the lilt of your laugh. The sunlight lays home in your eyes, calling me, begging me. I dream in song and golden whispers that tame even my darkest desires. My heart is aflame with the thought of even a glance of you, of even a glimpse of your glory, bare and whole in my arms. I bask in the memory of Siren's songs and seek his skin. You devour me, I am yours forever, Diomore. Valdrik has carried that since the very first session.
Yes, we hear our, this were a TV show, our narrator reads that as you see from Diamore's perspective, reading back his note as if he was trying to recollect it. Roll insight really quick, Valdrik.
19.
Okay. Yeah, you see, you're just staring daggers at his face as he's reading this, and he's trying to put on a show of like, oh, I don't remember writing this, but you can see right through it that he remembers every word that he wrote. And for a second, his eyes flash from blood red to they kind of glow gold quickly, and then they go back to his normal color red. And he folds up the note and says, I had no choice. I had to. It was my father.
Valdrik's gonna put her hand up.
There's a part of me that you don't know, Valdrik, please.
And that's the problem, isn't it? There was no crevice of me, no part of me that you didn't know, but there's this giant part of you that I wasn't allowed to see. So big that you were able to just leave everything behind. Not just everything, everyone. And that doesn't even matter, because what you left behind was me. And if you had just told me and you had talked to me, maybe we could have found a way through and over and past it, and we could have run together. But no, you and your damn pride had to sit and stew until it was, too late? And then you were gone. And you have the gall to stand and ask me, what happened to your wagon? What happened to your wagon?
And just like that scene, I think it's in Guardians of the Galaxy, where Chris Pratt's just like looking off, and out of nowhere Thor just kind of like, you see Pimble's face like just fade in between the two of you.
God.
And he's very amused, very hungover, but still very amused. Turns around and looks at Diamor like,
Pimble, you reek!
I have the same question, so don't. Where?
Wait, this seems to be not our place. So, Pinball.
You guys are frozen.
Oh no.
Oh, man.
Not in the middle of the angst.
All the
Not in the middle of Anya yoinking people out of the wagon.
Last
Sorry,
I heard
okay.
was Pimble. You were about to address Pimble.
Yeah, Pinball, you and I should not be here right now. So you're going to show me, I need to bury a dead body. You're going to show me the best place to do that here. So let's go.
And
so I'm going to
again-
grab him, grab the wine bottle, and walk out the door.
Again, he kind of looks to Valdrik for like affirmation, and before he can get any sort of response, kind of is quickly dragged out and just walks with Anya out. Before they leave the wagon and close the door, he quick peeks back in and says, "Make sure you tell him about the part where you abandoned us." And then a quick hand on his collar rips away, and the door slams. And Diamor does a slow blink. I had no choice. My father. Okay, I have to explain who my father is for you to know who I am. I'm a Hell Knight. Yes, I swallow swords and all that. It's not an illusion. I actually swallow those swords during the performance, and the reason is because I am a demon from the 9 hells. I am a Hell Knight. I am supposed to be in a war. I am supposed to be in a battle against the devils or whatever my father goes on about. It's my destiny to die in battle as the demons fight the devils for the sake of the 9 hells and territories and whatever. General speak. I came to the Phantasmo Circus to run away from that all. To get away from it all. I didn't want to go back. You think I wanted to go back to that hellscape? I am here now to break the curse, to escape the tether that my father has on me to that stupid realm. I am done. I am not going back.
Valdrik's gonna stare out her window and say, at the beginning of this, all I could think about was murder and fury and burning it all to the ground around you. Well, you watched because you made me feel that way when you left. But then I found this beautiful purpose, this beautiful band of wenches, and we travel and we do good, Diamore. We do great things. It's not just running, sword swallowing, and drinking all day and night. I think we're meant to actually save people, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to put my trust in you again the way that I feel like I would need to ever even hold a friendship with you. You took everything from me, regardless of the reason, and you ran with it that day, regardless of the reason. So let me tell you what you can do for me now, Diamore. You can stand before the Saz Father, and I know you have a considerable tolerance, and as Anya would put it so eloquently, I simply don't have the time. So I will summon the Saz Father myself, and you will stand, and you will deliver yourself upon him as your apology to me for what you broke when you left. Do you understand?
Roll persuasion and roll insight. 2 separate rolls.
That's a nat 20 on my persuasion.
Oh my gosh, it's poetic. It writes itself.
And a 21 on insight.
Yes. Okay. First, I'll do the insight as you're trying to read his face after you give this dissertation. You see regret wash over his face. You see the need. He spoke of the curse that his father has on him. You see that kind of wash over his face, and
You guys are frozen.
The angst is too much. It's too mighty. The stream can't handle it.
I'm just pulling books.
All
All
right, you
the
guys are back.
anxiety.
we
And
are
then-
breaking every server because of the angst. You see when you mention the Saz Father and standing before him, you mention when you mention that, you see a look of hope almost wash over his face. In that hope that this may be the way to break the curse. This may be the way to get away. It's kind of double-sided coin. That's the selfish side. On the other side is he can be back with Valdrik. He can be rid of his father and his brother once and for all, and be gone and no longer have to be forced into war and be a warrior. He can just be him, and whether that's performing, whether that's just leaving it all behind and living his life in the material world. And with your persuasion, obviously nat 20, he gulps in a deep breath, looks over at his wagon, and looks back at you and says, "Begin the ritual. I'll do it."
I'm gonna reach up and grab another bottle from the clunkety clunky shelf behind me, yoink the cork, and slam it while keeping just direct,
Yes.
like, death eye contact with him.
Yep. Yeah, he keeps it, and the air around you swirls. Your hair whips in the wind. Everything just kind of seems to fade to black, and it's just you two standing there as you hear a loud bingo, boingo, bongo. Valdrik, Diamore. I almost feel like I'm officiating a wedding. I digress. You have brought me the final piece of the puzzle, my dearest, most devout follower, Valdrik. And you, Diamore, what a shame. Look how far you've fallen. As he just continues to maintain eye contact with you. Saz Father continues, I will honor this request in the only way I know possible. the finalizing of the bingo boingo. Therefore, Diamor, you know what is at stake. You understand the rules here. You see yourself as some sort of god, but I assure you, you are not. Not in my presence. And it will remain that way should you follow me, the Sazfather, bringer of bubbles. Do you take this pledge in hope to take back your lady of some sort, or do you take this pledge to break the curse? And Diamor thinks for a second. And, make another roll. And he says, I take this pledge so that me and Valdrik together can break the curse. And Sazfather, interesting answer. So be it. Bingo, boingo, bubbly, bubbly, bubbles, or whatever pleasantries you decide. I'm out of words. Goodbye. Snaps his finger, and you see in the above you, the cloud of the black cloud forms that smile on the barrel again, the emblem of the Sazfather, as it quick fades and reality comes back into place. And it's a quiet, tense moment for a second. And all of a sudden, behind you, the body of Calliope rises as the life force is sucked from the embryo back into her. As she's gasping, you see it kind of, all the color returns to her body, and the embryo fades into dust, much like, you know, Endgame, Infinity War. Everything, just the embryo just fades to dust, and Calliope's just sitting up, coughing her brain out. And Calliope, you went from reading a book 1 second to your nose bleeding. You blink, and all of a sudden you're sitting in a wagon, in Valdrik's wagon, which you've been in before.
She's gonna drop down onto her knee beside her and start just like hollering for Anya, and like motioning at Diamor, go get her, and then just kind of like, are you all right? And patting Calliope on the back. You were fucking dead for like at least 24 hours. You were dead.
Yeah. Yeah, real quick, we switched to a scene of Pimble and Anya standing awkwardly outside that wagon, and Pimble turns and says, "So, you would make a fine addition as a bod. Have you decided to?"
No.
And then you just hear, come quick!" You hear Valdrik, whatever, yelling.
Wait, I feel like that whole sequence would have taken longer, and I was going to go bury Nox.
I assume that. Okay, sure.
Okay.
We have to have her moment with Nox.
Yeah.
After she told me she didn't need another moment with Nox, now she has to have another
Well,
moment.
I'm gonna bury him.
Okay. Where are you trying to bury him?
Well, I took Pinball so that he could show me a place in Phantasmo that I could bury him.
Yeah, he says, yes, right this way. The woods behind the wagon should do, although, must warn you, not too far. There seems to be some sketchiness about these woods. I've gotten lost many times. But yes, on the edge, we should be fine. I'm sorry for your loss, of course. Let me find a shovel. And he awkwardly goes away, finds a shovel, and you guys begin digging a grave for Nox.
No, just me. Just
Okay.
me. I dismiss him. Just me.
Okay. Yeah, he wrings his hands awkwardly and heads back to the
You
wagon.
can go.
Yeah.
You can go.
Yes. I'll just wait for Valdrik, I suppose. Goes and waits by the door. Yeah, you start digging the grave. Nox's body has definitely started deteriorating. after 24 hours. I don't know how rigor mortis works, but something about rigor mortis.
Real stiff.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, his brain is not there. It's replaced by a dead intellective hour. But, anyways, Anya, do you need to describe how you dig a grave, or do we just kind of?
I mean, I'm just digging it, and then I'm taking swigs of deep wine, like, in between. And, I'm gonna... Okay, this might not be, like, stat-wise how this works, but Anya is going to power through, knowing that she can let the alcohol affect her as soon as she's done. Like, mentally, she's gonna power through it. I know that's not how that works.
Using second.
But I'm going to decide that, like, Anya's like, no, I'm gonna keep doing this, and then I can pass out after.
It's really sad.
Yeah. I'll make you. You still have to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Okay. 16.
Okay. So are you sipping frequently the deep wine, or are you chugging deep wine?
I'm like taking swigs as I like. I'm just like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are taking swigs, and as you're digging, the grave itself seems to be opening up into like it looks like it's opening up into another dimensional plane, and you're looking into it and you're seeing like these wildlands of this other plane of existence, and you're like putting your hand down, and Pimble's kind of giving you side-eyed weird looks from across the way as he just sees you putting your hand down into a grave. You're getting wild hallucinations. But fast forward, you power through it, and you put Nox's body in there and bury it up.
Yep.
6 feet under. Rip.
Yep. And then I'm just gonna down the rest of the deep wine.
Off I go, baby.
Yeah, in your
no matter the consequences, I'm just chugging the rest.
In your intoxicated state, you hear Valdrik yelling as you hear some commotion coming from the wagon. And you, not hardly in control of your body, start stumbling back as Pimble runs and tries to kind of help you and keep your balance.
Don't touch me, Pimble.
You just looked like you were going to fall.
You're 2 inches tall. What are you gonna do?
Oh, I say, I am not. I'm 5 foot. Well,
yeah.
Whatever. And he just kind of waddles beside you, keeping his eye on you as you stumble. Valdrik, you open the door to see Pimble and a very drunk Anya, with a shovel and dirt kind of all over her face, dirt and sweat.
Okay. Valdrik's gonna grab a rag from the kind of kitchenette behind her and kind of like wipe Anya's just upper part of her face just a little bit, and not. I just understood without speaking to her. Be like, it's done. Calliope's back.
In your hallucinatory state, Anya, you see Calliope sitting up in the wagon, still kind of coughing it out. And so you're not really sure if you're seeing things or if Calliope's back.
Is that real?
That's real. Yeah. No, absolutely. She's back. Yeah. You. That's a lot of deep wine. All right. I'm gonna get you some water. Do you want to sit on a poof? Got a lot of poofs in here.
I'm just gonna sit on the floor and then fall back.
Good. All right. That's good too. That's why there's the rugs. Lots of rugs in here. Okay.
That's what I did last night, and I feel fine. He actually, he feels no hangover since his conversion was successful. Is this how it always is, drinking under the deity law of Sir Sassfather?
I'm beginning to think so as of late. That's a great part of following the Sassfather. Hangovers, you don't know them. They don't exist.
You hear that, Anya? You should consider becoming. Yeah, Anya's out.
Valdrik's pulling a blanket off of the bed, going, "No, she is asleep. It's the nap time for Anya." I'm just gonna put the blanket over top of her on the rug and turn and look at Calliope and just go, "What the fuck? What happened to you? This is what happened to us. You just got all of this. That's what you missed? What happened? Where have you been?" Mina.
Sorry, say that again. I zoned out hard. I'm so sorry.
She is drunk.
I wish. No. Say that again.
I was just asking where you've been.
Say there's the Calliope's just sitting there with like touching her chest and her head, going, "Okay, I'm here." Like I was still in that library. The last thing that I had done was I was able to contact Solara, which she's meeting up with Father Zathia, by the way, if nobody knew that.
Yeah, it almost seems like Calliope's just like rambling, like, "Oh, Solara's doing this." Like she just back from the dead and just like starting to spout off. So you're not really sure if like.
Do I have? I'm gonna pat my bag and see if that book that I had came with me, because the last book I had, I put like in the book I put in my bag or in my pocket. So did that book come back with me?
Make an investigation check.
Oh shit. Okay.
Didst thou steal from the Celestial Library?
And while you do, your appearance, as you like patting yourself down, you realize your hair is disheveled again, not like it was braided like in your dream state. The color has returned to your skin, but you're still full of dirt and blood from the battle. Unless anyone took the time to like clean Calliope's.
Probably not. There's
Probably
a lot going on.
Time.
Yeah, but you do feel back to your full self. So your hit points, you don't have to roll; they're at maximum. I don't know if I took any penalties to your hit point maximum, but if I did, that's off.
I don't think so.
And your spell slots are back to full.
Yay!
So go ahead and.
I rolled an
18. Cool. Yeah, you're patting around, and you do feel that your blueberry wine is half drunk, which is the one that you had in your dreamlike state, and then you do feel that book that you took.
I'm gonna pull it out. Is it still just the waves on the front and the scribbles?
Yep, still the same.
I'm gonna open it.
Yeah, you flip to that page that had that you were talking through the puddle with Solara, and it's just blank pages after that. Instead of the dimension door, it's just blank.
Okay, I'm gonna hold it up and show it to Valdrik and go, "This is the book that I took. I was able to talk to Solara through it. I can't anymore. That's gone now. I don't understand it, but."
Can I grab the book from her and see if I can like?
Yeah.
If it's anything different than what she's looking at when I grab it.
Yeah, you look at the cover. It's the same kind of green, white waves on it. You open the book up. It's talks about the chalice of spirit revelation. You start flipping through, and you see like paragraphs, and it's giving you all the information. Obviously, you skim through, or else it'd take a while. But then you get about like halfway through, and it's just frozen.
Chris is about to explode. It's always like right before he's about to drop it, right? Mic drop, and then the thing just freezes. You're back.
Hi, welcome.
Flipping through, the paragraphs are still there, all the same. You're skimming it, and then you get halfway through the book, and instead of that like dimension door that I was explaining to Calliope earlier, it's just blank pages, white pages, and you start flipping through just white pages all the way through. The second half.
It's a nifty little book, okay? I love information, you know, I'm from the College of Law. I feel like this is a weird time to be reading, though, right? That's a weird time. Reading.
Right now there's nothing else to do where I was, so I was just pulling books off at random.
Okay.
I was just reading. I didn't have nothing to do.
That's good to know. Solara's safe, though. Wherever she is, she's safe.
Yes, vengeance was with her, and she was gonna go find Father Zathir. She was out Wind's Peak, so.
Sounds like she's having a hell of a lot better of a time than we are, because now we're stuck here in the most dramatic television show in the world.
Lovely.
We're stuck in this. We can't get out.
Amphitheater
She was
show.
try to get here,
Amphitheater
so.
show. Most dramatic theater performance that you've ever seen. Going to write the most crazy stage play off of this, but that's beside the point. Anya's having a nap. She don't mind that this entire place reeks of alcohol. It pretty much always does, and I haven't really had a chance to clean in the last time moves all wishy-washy here.
Yep, Pimble's sweaty, drunken state last night has left like a body imprint of sweat on the floorboard of the wagon, and it's still there.
I'm gonna look at that and just cast the prestidigitation.
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 It cleans up messes, so I'm just gonna kind of look at that, make a face, and just like snap my finger at it and clean it up.
Yeah, you see it very quickly evaporate and goes right back to sparkling new. Even all the dust that has been collected over the months has gone with it, and it looks even newer than when you entered.
Incredible. That's fantastic. I love that. Little bit of bad news. Great news that you're alive, right? Great news you're alive. The embryo's gone.
That's good. I don't think that took.
Do we still have our tattoos?
Ooh, that's true.
Is she still Stas Daddy marked?
She, her forearm, yes, is still marked.
Is anybody else Stas Daddy marked that's given themselves to the Stas Father? I feel like we haven't asked that.
I don't think we have.
Pimble starts to kind of like look around, opens up his pants. Nope.
Dictate of the Stas Father.
Yeah, no, he, unless you like investigate Pimble even further, sweaty back.
I'm not looking at Pimble's sweaty back. That's not happening. Okay, well, bad news. We seem to be trapped here, at the circus.
That's no good. I think Solara is trying to get here after talking to Father Zathir.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because then she'll just be trapped here too. I won't be trapped. She's gonna be really unhappy.
Together. We can figure this out.
All together trapped is probably not great. Somebody should probably still be on the outside, but I suppose.
I see what's his name is still alive and we didn't murder him.
What about that scary, when I spoke to you, I saw a very scary tiefling. It's...
Okay. So, he appeared in one of my books also. He was the tiefling that fucked with me here at the circus before, so I'm wondering if we need to go find him.
Do I recognize that tiefling, by the way? Like,
because he was a part of the... He's not part of the troop, but he was in the forest. Like, that was his forest, from what I understood.
That's not the same thing. The forests around Phantasmal Hollow are a land of its own, and have very little to do with the actual Interplanet Circus itself.
Oh, well.
This place is actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong here, oh great Daddy DM in the sky, Phantasmal Hollow is quite dangerous without the rest of the circus afoot. It's Auntie Twivel's magic that keeps this place safe, and if she's not here, and also we are trapped here, all of that seems just, it's quite fishy now that we moved from the problems from there to here. The new problems also seem quite big right now.
Yeah, typically, whenever you guys go on tour, there are a couple standards that are in place and a couple moments of protocol that happen. So Countess of Twivel is the last to leave, and she pretty much puts a magical barrier up around the dimension itself, to make sure no one can get in or out or steal anything. So except for members and guests going through, the 10 flap. And that's the only penetrable way to get in whenever they're on tour. Her like divination place is all shut down, like everything's locked up, magically warded. Sometimes Mojo stays back if he's got extra work to do in the weave. He'll stay back and work on merch. Sometimes he'll go with them. Mojo, you never know where Mojo's at. Mojo's just kind of bopping around, like the little cat he is. So yeah, just vibing. Yeah, sorry. Charlotte just told me she had to go to the potty, which I actually have to go to the potty too. So I need to take another literally 3-second break. Is that okay?
I'm also gonna go take a quick pee.
Okay.
I'm naming this episode "She Touched This Sack."
Yep.
Oh, no, please don't do that.
It's so good.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
That was literally the only word my brain would come up with.
As it came
was
out
sack.
of your mouth, I was just
Was
like,
sack.
wow.
See,
I truly I was searching. I was searching for other words, but
And that's okay that your mind landed on
Yep.
sack. I think it was a beautiful thing.
Yep.
That's where it.
when
yeah.
I do these DM prep phases, and I was trying to think of a word, I'm like, embryo. It's like a sack. It's like a what? But I was like, I can't say sack because they're all gonna.
They're all
laugh.
12.
So
Literally.
I went back and
literally
forth, but yeah. So glad it happened.
Considering
to
we
you.
all died.
It happened to you
when
because you
Amber
didn't have
said
any prep, and I did.
Honestly, yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It was funny.
Okay, so where were we? We were at. Where were we? I think Calliope.
Me and Valdrik were catching up,
Yes.
figuring out what the fuck was going on.
I
talking
said,
about-
do I recognize the creepy tiefling? Hooda dooda.
I forgot.
Doodah.
Are you looking? Is it just based on Calliope's description, or how are you recognizing?
Hold on. I thought I saw him last time when I spoke
Yeah,
to
I'm
her.
trying to remember.
Oh, it might have been Anya who saw him.
Yeah, it was
When
Anya.
she put the mirror under my nose, she saw the flash of a tiefling.
Yep.
And Solara apparently saw him behind me. I don't think you've seen the tiefling.
Then describe him to me real well.
Be anyone. It's like red horns.
Describe him
That's
better.
not right. I think there's a wait.
Creepy.
Wait.
Disturbing. Do I have detect thoughts?
Creepy. Oh yeah, can you do that? That would work. I'm trying to see if there's a photo of him somewhere that we had at some point. Yeti. Oh
Yeah.
no, not Piddlewick. I don't need that
Oh,
nightmare.
not that one.
Not Piddlewick.
Do you have a photo for her, Chris, to attempt to describe from?
Yeah. Kyle, do you remember where I put that? I thought it would be in Phantasmo. Maybe not.
I don't know if you did you upload Tivit?
Not yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
Here, let me look. Without them seeing my screen, because I don't want them to see the name.
Maybe I should have lit that tiefling on fire when I saw him. Look, Calliope's
fun.
now holding a grudge against that fucking tiefling since he keeps fucking appearing.
Here we are.
So he didn't want me to leave the goddamn forest. I don't like that.
So Calliope can relay this to Valdrik. Anya can't because she's kind of drunk, but she also saw the same person in this reflection. Definitely looked like a tiefling. Red skin, had a beard but no mustache, pointed ears, and it looked like a jester's hat that either fit over the horns or are horns itself from the tiefling. Kind of a, let's see, like a red cape that goes back, has some spikes going on it, has a piercing coming out of its beard, very strangely. Really thick, heavy eyebrows, brown hair, big, goofy grin on his face. And yeah, just kind of a bejeweled like headband that you're not really sure if it's a jester's hat or if it's a headband and tiefling horns. But yeah, super creepy looking.
Do I recognize this description in any capacity?
Make a history check for me.
$19.
Okay. Yeah. So during your time in Phantasmo, as an entertainer, obviously Phantasmo is run by a bunch of different tieflings. You met one of them, Tommy Two Tails. Most of them just workers. A lot of them help out in the weave, which is like a little sweatshop. But besides Gibbons, tieflings are running around doing all the heavy lifting, carrying stuff, moving stuff to and from. They have a little bit of magic that they do, but for the most part, just little worker bees going around. You recognize, as you spent time there, you came to befriend some of the tiefling workers there, being outgoing and bubbly like Valdrik is. You're kind of a good celebrity where you go out and are nice to your underlings, basically. And one of them was a tiefling by the name of Tivit. Tivit. And you recognize him as soon as Calliope says beard piercing, which is like, you just, like, who gets a piercing on their beard? You recognize, oh my gosh, I've only literally met one person in my entire life, and that was Tivit, and he had this weird beard piercing. And he was this little tiefling worker, very ambitious. He always wanted to be a part of the big show. He always wanted to be a part of the main core, the Phantasmo. But Pimble was kind of mean to him. Diemor, you're not really sure if Diemor really knew him. Some of the workers were mean to him. Some of them were like, no, like, you're obviously, like, you're not talented. Kind of like a think like The Incredibles and Syndrome, his kind of backstory of like wanting to fit in, wanting to be that hero, always trying to put on performances, and his performances were terrible. He didn't, like, he tried juggling, realized that wasn't for him, tried fire, like sword, flaming sword swallowing, got severely hurt in an attempt to try to impress people, got laughed at by a lot of his tiefling peers, and had a pretty sad story. You're not really sure like where he ended up, because at that point you had left and joined up with the Wenches and left the circus at that point.
Damn.
But yeah, poor Tivit, and you recognize that that description.
That's for sure. Tivit. Weird piercing. It really stuck with me. That's awful. He was kind of bullied a little bit. I'm not sure what else happened to him. I was gone really for most of the last hunk of time here. Fuck. This really does give villain origin story vibe, though. Kind of bad.
He was a little creepy in the forest when I met him. And by little, I mean a lot.
Talking now also seems a lot creepy. It seems a lot creepy.
Yeah, you
I don't understand why he's showing up.
Valdrik, you remember, like, he was always around working and stuff like that, and really outgoing, eccentric. When you returned with your Wenches companions, you didn't see him running around. And you heard about Calliope's interaction in the woods. you're like, oh yeah, that's crazy. Whoever kind of does weird, crazy stuff, and then you kind of put two and two together, and you're like, oh wait, that was. I didn't realize that dude in the forest had the pierced beard, or else I would have been like, oh my gosh, that's Tivit. I didn't realize he was acting crazy.
I mean, that doesn't sound like him at all. He was such a ambitious little kid.
Well, something must have happened when you left the circus then to push him that way.
Yeah, I guess. He wasn't here when we were here, so maybe he's... Oh, God. Even as Valdrik's saying it, she feels like how bad it feels. Maybe he's in the woods surrounding the circus still, because if he ran off out there to be crazy, then maybe he didn't leave with them and they went traveling, and maybe he knows what the fuck is going on here. And that does not all sound terrible and like a really bad idea to go wandering off into the woods around the hollow, but it doesn't seem like we have much of a choice. I'm gonna look over at Anya and be like, we're not gonna do much about it right now. We're gonna probably have to wait for a bit anyway, give Solara a chance to contact us again, and give Anya a chance to grieve.
Yeah, but we'll want to be careful anyways, because he seems to use illusion magic, or that was one of his big things last time I met him.
Yeah. It can never be easy, can it? No. It can never be easy.
No, definitely not.
Valdrik's gonna start just kind of like tidying up the wagon around Anya as she goes.
Diamor says, do you want me to get your friend some water or something?
Also some smelling salts, a bucket.
Something like smelling salts? I can make that happen.
Sure.
Quick. Okay.
That doesn't sound ominous.
Yeah, he kneels down and snaps his finger, and a bolt of lightning kind of shoots out. And Anya, it's like smelling salts, except the effects of the drunkenness seem to wear off, but it does feel like he got slapped in the face and shocked. Almost like struck by lightning. It's that exact face is Anya.
I just don't think we're gonna get much out of Anya right now. Anya, can you drink some water for me?
Sure.
Anya's gonna, Valdrik's gonna hand just like a jug of water to Anya. Big two-handed, just like into her hands. Big old tankard. Just like that, yeah. That's real good. Drink that right up. And if you feel anything knocking at the door to come back up, you tell me and I will throw you right out the door to throw out outside. It's fine.
Yes, perhaps we should all leave the wagon and explore a bit.
Let's not
God,
pull it
terrible
off, though.
idea.
Well, I remember Tivit. He was a little freak. I didn't interact with him much, but...
Well, you can go off by yourself. I'm gonna stay with Valdrik.
You need to... yeah. I don't think you should be going anywhere. You just came back from the dead. Anya needs to take a beat.
I feel fine.
Let's give Anya a moment. Let's give Calliope a moment. And run off.
We're just gonna repress the trauma. It's fine.
I think that the next step is quite obviously that we have to go and find Tivit, but let me tell you something. I'm going to point it on you. I am a glass cannon. That's what keeps me and her safe, and I don't trust you with a salt right now. I trust her with my life. She's got a right to grieve. Let her grieve. Can we all just take a moment to grieve? Let's take a beat. What's happened? I gave birth that's 24 hours ago. Anya's boyfriend's dead. Just had to bury him in the backyard. Let's all take a minute. All right?
Very well. I'll take my post outside the wagon, I suppose.
God, yeah, you
As you should.
go stand outside the wagon.
Yes, I will.
Want you really to
And,
think long and hard about what's transpired here.
And he grabs a bottle of blueberry wine and he says, I might further explore this deity of yours. Well, deity of mine now, I suppose.
Maybe we shouldn't summon him right now.
No. You let him do whatever the fuck he wants to do. He's a big man. Look at him. You're a big man, aren't you?
That's true. As long as he doesn't come to try to talk to us, I don't have the capacity for that.
You lay down. I'm gonna point at Calliope. You lay in bed. You're stressing me out. You're just wandering around in the land of the half alive for a bit there. Let's take a breather. Time out.
Calliope's just gonna lay back down on the ground and like spread out, going, fuck.
All right. Yeah, we'll pause on that scene and transition back over to the Temple of Kalambor. And let's see, get a little ambiance going. Cabris and Solara are having their discussion, and Doom Guide, such and that, Destiny, blah blah blah. And finally, Father Zathier returns after a moment. Let me look something up really quick. Hello. Bing bong. And he is carrying a small vial that looks like two like golden hands, kind of like in the shape of like this, and in the middle of it is a three-parted red jewel that it's holding. So it's kind of shaped like a triangle. The wrists are like cut off here. This is like where the bottom of the potion bottle is. And he comes back carrying this small little vial, and he says, I'm sorry, I hope I'm not intruding, but Solara, I have found what I think may be a cure for your friend. It's a periaptive wound closure, and this is a wound that needs closure. And Cabris snarls at him, and he yes, sorry, just trying to add a bit of humor to the situation. But perhaps you drink this, and it cures this. What do you say? And Vengeance takes the vial, and he looks up at him, and he rolls an insight check on him. And he can't tell anything from him, and he says, How do I know this isn't holy water? You specifically asked me not to bring you holy water, which I must ask. What is such a problem that you have with holy... And he gets cut off, and Vengeance says, Nothing. It will not heal
Trust is
my
trust.
condition.
Trust is trust. I trust you to not kill him or anyone else here.
Who's killing who here?
No one. It was a joke. It was a joke. Anyways, I trust that. So he's not gonna. He wouldn't do that. It's fine. Trust me.
Yes,
Right? It's not holy water. You said it's not.
Of course.
Okay. It's fine.
Yes. Well, bottoms up, and he
It'd be so funny.
pops open the potion and drinks it. And he takes a minute as you see his wing. First, the black skin around it starts to get color back into it, his normal color. And then you see his skin kind of mend back together slowly, and he winces in a bit of pain, kind of swallows it, and you see his wing fully mend back together, and he opens his eyes, and Father Zathier's like, See? Not holy water. It is merely the effect that I thought it would be, and they don't call me the best priest around of healing, whatever, for nothing.
Well, I can thank you. Can't thank you enough. If you want payment, we can certainly. I'm sure he can pay you. Certainly.
Oh, think nothing of it. I receive many potions to replenish my stock, but if you feel obliged to, and Cabris pulls out a coin purse, a massive wad of not platinum. What's the higher one from gold? It's
Platinum.
is it platinum?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Big bag of platinum, and jingles it around, plops it on the table. 100 coins of platinum spill out, and he says, "For the tithe, for the church."
Wow, that's very, very generous.
Oh, Solara, your boyfriend, is it? Is
No.
very generous indeed. Oh,
No.
You're absolutely not.
Acquaintance.
What was it that Halson said? I'm in love with nature. You, I merely tolerate.
Oof,
I
too soon.
tolerate Solara. No, he doesn't say that. He says,
That's funny.
yes.
Anyways, yeah, you've got it a little twisted. That's okay though. It's okay.
My
Anyways, yeah.
apologies. Is there anything else I can do for you before I kick you out? Because the visitors and the mourners will be arriving soon for the funeral, which I don't want you to be here for if you don't want to be.
Yeah, no, I think we're good. Thanks though. It's good
And
seeing
then
you.
Vengeance looks up at you, kind of shakes off his wings and then folds them back, puts his cloak over them comfortably now, and says, what about the chalice? What about your discussion with Calliope?
I mean, I don't know. That was it. What about it?
Does he know anything about that? To help
No.
with your friend?
No.
Oh, did you ask already?
Yeah.
I must have missed it.
I don't think he did. I'm pretty sure. I asked and he said no. Right?
I think he said he was gonna look into it.
Oh, was that it? Okay, sorry.
I can't
I
remember.
kind of forgot.
So I was
Okay.
also having a brain fart as a DM, but yeah, I can't remember what you decided with the chalice information.
I can't remember either. Shoot. Because she was mumbling, as she does, which was me in real life too. I guess yeah. I can just double check with Valdrik Sathier really quick then before we go, if he was familiar. So I can't remember what he was gonna look into. I thought it was.
Yeah, I
something to
think
do with
I think you did
the
mention
world she might be in, or something.
Yeah, now that I remember, you did mention. Okay, so you did mention about the chalice, and I guess, were you describing what Calliope described to you, basically?
I think so.
Okay. As he hears this description, he says, "Oh yeah, because he gave you the information about the spirit revelation thing, chalice of spirit revelations," and he says, "Yes." I may have something for you. I'm not sure how it would help your situation, but of what you described is something I have in my possession. Yes, I'll be right back again. And he hurries off, and there's another little awkward pause between you and Cabris, and he comes back, and he brings this chalice that literally fits the exact description that Calliope described to you. And he says, "This is not just any cup to drink from. This is something that we use here in the church, in the temple, when not necessarily communing with, but investigating certain spectral entities, if you're catching my drift. Spirits. We deal with the undead, we deal with sending the undead to their afterlife, and this chalice in particular is enchanted to reveal that sort of information with us. Solara, I'm going to give this to you as well as a bit of holy water. And he side-eyes Vengeance, and he says, and when you fill this chalice with holy water, and you drink from it, you will say a prayer to Kalimvor, much like I've taught you before in the past. And Kalimvor will in turn reveal to you information about the type of spirit that you are seeking in that moment. If you are seeking to commune with a ghost, and you pray to Kalimvor, and the ghost entity is around you, Kalimvor will reveal that information to you, that you are correct. I know all of this sounds a bit out of the blue and not really making much sense, but I'm not sure if you've ever gone spirit hunting before. We've talked about it, but
you know,
in practice,
it kind of seems like it was perhaps the next steps if I were, you know, to be like a doom guide, you know? Is that maybe towards that?
Yes. When you were my acolyte, we did discuss your next steps as a doom guide, and of course you went on your adventuring ways before we could get into that training, which is perfectly fine. There's still plenty of life left for you to live. And so if you choose to become a doom guide, she chooses. Caber steps in, and Father Zathier, well, it's her choice, of course, but anyways, if you so choose to become a doom guide, then there are certain things you need to know about communing with spirits, and we will start with this item of enchantment. Tell me your findings, and I leave you with this and say 5 flasks of holy water.
Holy water.
Know that this is not a game, though. This is not to be played with or trifled with. This is a communication device, if you will. And if you are trying to commune with a specific spirit, that know that you must be correct when praying to Kalimvor. If you are not, well, you have to find out for yourself. But this is why I don't mess with such things. But I trust you, Solara, to make the right choice.
Okay. Yeah, I got a couple other things I gotta wrap up first, but you know, that sounds pretty cool.
Of course. I'm scheduled in a few hours to lead this funeral, and so...
Really gotta get out of here.
Yes, keep your head low. Especially with a traveling companion who's not from around here. People might start asking questions. It's a small town.
It's a small town.
Yeah, we'll definitely take the back route, not the main road.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well, best of luck on your travels, and if you need me for a third time, I am always here for you to...
We'll certainly be back. Don't you worry.
Yes, well, I must finish lighting these candles and practicing my speech that I must admit is not exactly heartfelt, knowing the Daros, but you are the one sparkling ray of sunshine in the otherwise hideous family that is the Daros.
Oh,
so
sure.
continue to be so.
Should really just change my last name, probably, but...
Yeah.
Or continue the legacy and create a new legacy for the Daros. It's your choice, of course.
We'll see. Anyways, see you soon. Goodbye.
Best of luck on your travels.
Oh,
And he turns and
you know it.
continues lighting some candles and goes back to his work. You said you were looking for some camping supplies?
Oh yeah, I was gonna try and buy some
Yeah.
if there's anywhere.
Yeah, there's probably a little marketplace that you know. Do you disguise yourself, or are you just going in like
Hmm.
Willy nilly.
willy nilly?
I do have disguise self. Yeah, I'll use disguise self
Nice.
and use it. Yeah, I'll
What
use that.
What are you disguising yourself as?
I feel like most of the people around this area probably just look like generic, like half elves or something. So, or like human. So I'm just gonna like probably just like a half elf, just like a generic looking girl
Okay.
going to the shop.
Yeah. Your tail.
Gone.
Your tail just is gone. Your skin tone turns to a pale, tannish skin tone, and you said half elf or whatever.
Yeah, half elf, something
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
Um,
Also, is Vengeance with me? Does he have disguise self? I wonder.
um, you're not sure if he has it or not. I mean, you would
Okay.
assume so with all his illusion techniques, spells that you saw last season. But he looks like a human. He's not like
He's not like overly okay. He's not like red.
yeah.
Or, like,
He
orange.
doesn't have like a big tail or anything. He's
Okay, he's okay. He's a little more low-key. All right,
Yeah.
so like just keep your hood up if you're gonna come with me. We need to go buy some stuff real quick.
I suppose I'll walk instead of floating around.
Yeah, please do.
And
then-
he does just that. Yeah, you go to like your local marketplace, kind of low key, not a big hustle and bustle trading or anything like that. But let's get some more ambience up in here. Back outside, you go to a familiar face, and we can kind of like fast forward through it. She's selling various types of dried meats, dried jerky, things that you can keep without having to preserve with salt or anything. Like you can keep wrapped in some sort of cloth packaging, and has a very long shelf life for travelers specifically. So I'm not sure if Solara is a big vegetarian or meat person, but
Yeah, no, she's not vegetarian.
okay.
So yeah, I will buy. Like, how much of that does she have? How much is it?
Yeah, it's 1 gold per camping supply worth of
Okay.
jerky. So yeah, how much do you want to buy? And this would be a mixture of the jerky and water.
Can I get 30?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
30 gold
I'll
pieces.
buy 30. Yeah, make it 40. Make
Okay.
it 40.
All right. Yeah, you stock up. Yeah, we just kind of fast forward through that scene. She totally doesn't
Add it to our
recognize you.
bank.
Yeah, add it to the
Okay,
bank.
cool.
And
Gonna
yeah.
do math.
And at that point, it is midnight, so I want to switch back to the other group and do the cliffhanger. So, you guys, Anya, Valdrik, you guys are rested. You kind of take a beat, sober up. Calliope's cleaning the dirt and muck and blood off her face. Maybe it takes a quick second with her prestidigitation.
We'll do that.
Yeah, probably. And you guys are...
After she had her little mental breakdown on the floor, it's fine.
Yeah. If you have any more discussing that you need to do, by all means, go for it. But if not, tell me what your next move is.
Valdrik's gonna kneel down next to Anya, in the silence of the wagon, and say a witch's prayer that Sarah used to say to her when she was a child.
and she doesn't remember all the words to it, but she's just gonna say it softly in Nox's name. You okay? Yeah, you're okay. And then just gently pat the top of Anya's hand and stand up and be like, "Oh, it's time to have a really terrible idea and go wandering off into the woods."
For reference, Anya, you get Valdrik's intentions, but you also, during the prayer, it's giving you flashbacks of your time hunting Auntie Wormtooth and all the hauntings that she did to you, because Sereny is a night hag and Auntie Wormtooth was a night hag, and so you're getting very similar vibes, and you're like cringing at some of it, but like it's your friend, so
You guys are frozen.
of course.
And like the best face. That's going right into the good DM faces file. All right, you're back.
Unbelievable. Okay, you're as she's saying this prayer, you're like very much cringing at some of the words because they're harsh, and you know that they're from a night hag, and you absolutely hate night hags because you were cursed by one. But you're like, yeah, I like your intention, so react to that as you will.
I'm just not going to acknowledge it. Because it's emotions and because it's night hag, so I'm just gonna lay there and stare at the floor.
Yep. So Valdrik's like, yep.
Off into the woods, you know?
So you guys gather your things, gather yourselves, and head out of the wagon. And you go straight into the woods. Make a explain to me what you're doing in the woods first, I guess.
We're looking for Tivit.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
9. I'm still hungover. It's with a +7. I rolled a 2.
Yep. Anya walks out there and is like leaning on her sword or whatever.
22.
22. Okay. You get to the part in the forest where Calliope seemingly got lost. Calliope can roll as well. Your investigation.
Yeah. I got a 16.
Okay. Yeah, Calliope kind of guides you guys into where okay, this is where I had this crazy experience, and you look up and you see a giant gaping hole through the tree canopy of dead wood and dead branches, and that is where Calliope shot up her fireball. With a 22, you're like, oh yeah, there's the scorch marks are still there, kind of growing back, but you're in the spot, and so you're really looking around, and you don't get any sense of change the ambiance here. You don't get any sense of anything going on. With your true sight, Valdrik, you're looking for ethereal plane stuff, so you're squinting, and you don't see any sort of illusions, you don't see anything amiss. It's just the woods, man. And you look around and you see your wagons in the distance, you haven't gotten lost, you're just
I'm gonna call his name.
Okay. No response.
Fuck. Calliope, what the fuck were you doing when you got caught up out here?
I was trying to gather firewood, and I strayed too far by myself.
Yes.
He was rude.
Oh,
After
What if I try calling out Tivit?
Sure.
I'll call out his name, go Tivit, and see if he appears, because I seem to be in the middle of it.
Okay. You call out, you don't hear any response, you kind of just hear the chirping of the birds, which sound not like normal birds, but like
I was about to say,
crazy
can I see if this
phantasmo.
is an illusion?
Well, with Valdrik's true sight, she
Oh, she
can
would notice
literally-
already?
Can literally notice,
Okay.
and she did not notice any sort
Okay.
of illusion. You call out his name a couple times. Valdrik does as well. Anya's just got a glazed look over her face. Demor's, searching on the ground, looking for clues. You don't see or hear any response, and then about a minute goes by, and you see what looks like a tiefling-like figure in the distance coming through the woods at you. Probably
Coming at us?
Yeah, probably like 1,000 feet away. You kind of get a glimpse of them in between trees, scampering along.
I'll on to him again. Tivit, is that you? Being creepy crawly in the trees.
Yeah, no response, but you hear the snapping of twigs as the scurrying little feet get closer, and the rustling of leaves.
I gotta tell you, whatever you are, we're not the group you want to be doing any scurrying, skivvying with. This is not good. Okay. I mean, I don't know what else to do except for wait for him to pull up on us.
Yeah,
I want to chase him through this forest, so.
you want to chase him through the forest, you said?
No.
Oh.
No.
You
No,
don't want to chase
Chris.
him through the forest.
I don't want to chase him through the
Well,
forest.
whatever it is seems to be chasing you guys through
Fairy
the forest.
fire.
As from behind one of the trees, you see two little tiefling hands put his hands up and peers out from behind the tree and says, Valdrik, is that you? Hey, Valdrik, what are you doing here? And you recognize him as Tommy Two Tails.
Wow, the small tiefling we're looking for.
Yeah, and he comes out from behind the tree. He's got his two tail. He's called Two Tails because his tail is uniquely split, some sort of birth defect, split into two. Let's see if I can pull up a picture. That would be here. Tommy Two Tails is gonna
Looking
be...
at him, and he looks like him, and not an illusion, right? Not a.
Yep, you don't see any sort of illusion about him. He looks like Tommy Two Tails. You are surprised to see someone in Phantasmo because this is the first person you've come across since your time being back in the past 2 episodes. Yeah, short little dude, red horns going back. It's kind of got like a jagged, sharp headpiece going down his forehead that goes up to his sides. They look like it's a headpiece that kind of resembles like sideburns that go down, but he has no facial hair whatsoever about him. Even his ears are split at the ends, just like his tail is. It seems to be some sort of birth defect. But yeah, you recognize him as Tommy Two Tails. Red skin, red lips.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Hey, Valdrik, what are you doing back here? I thought you would have been on tour. I mean, I suppose your wagon's here. I should have deduced that you're not. What are you doing in the middle of the woods?
Tell me, what are you doing in the middle of the woods, scampering through the trees?
I heard you guys yelling and stuff. I saw you smoke last night. I kind of freaked out, kept to myself. But I'll be honest, that's not the problem I was worried about. I kind of ignored it because I got bigger things going on here. You know, they leave me behind to kind of keep track of the circus, kind of clean up, you know, while they're on tour. Not much to clean up, though. I kind of just chill. But, I mean, what are you doing back here?
We're stuck, Tommy.
What do you mean you're stuck?
What do you mean, what do I mean, we're stuck? Have you tried leaving lately?
Leaving like teleporting? No? Hold on. What are you talking about? And he starts tapping on his headpiece, the little jewel in the center. We're stuck! Why am I stuck? Why ain't this working? And he pulls it off.
Tommy, what was
starts
the other
smacking it.
problem? What was the other problem, Tommy?
Well, now we got 3 problems. you're here. Well, it's not really a problem. Happy to see you. You too, DMO. I'm not even going to talk about that, why you're here. I don't even want to know. Pimble, where you been? It's a clown show at Phantasma. That's the one problem. Second problem, we're stuck. We're stuck, and now I'm just learning of this problem. Third problem, well, you know. Oh, you don't know?
No.
You haven't heard the mirror maze shut down. Yeah, I've been tasked to kind of keep an eye on it, fix it, although I'm just a little guy. I don't know how they expect me to fix something that's haunted. Oh, you don't know nothing, do ya? We gotta catch you up, Valdi.
Do I know anything about the mirror maze?
Yeah, it was like a funhouse kind of thing. It was very illusory, enchanted with illusions. Probably from a Twivel enchanted it. And you go in there, it's a big experience. You see a bunch of crazy stuff in mirrors, and you try to find your way out. And they charge a fee, and they usually don't pack it up and take it on tour with them. It's kind of a hassle too, so it's just kind of permanently at Phantasmo. But yeah, you remember the mirror maze. You tried to go through there once and had an experience, got scared out of your mind, saw some weird stuff in the mirrors. I don't think you ever made it through.
I hate the mirror maze.
Yeah, you hate it probably.
What do you mean it's broken? How do you get more broken than that thing, honestly?
Broken, haunted, we're not really sure. But I was supposed to try to figure it out, what's going on. I think it's there's something going on in there. Some weird, and it took me a while to figure out that it's not just the illusions. There's actually something in there that's taking people.
Sounds really bad for business.
Yep, it's really bad, and I trust you and your companions to keep it under wraps and not tell anybody about our recent loss of 2 visitors that went through and never returned, which you didn't hear from me. It's a problem. It's a real problem. It's a real problem. Where's, of all the people here, I expected the other tiefling. The one that I mistook for another worker. What's her name?
Solara.
Sonata.
Solara.
Solara, that little tiefling. She got flipped into some sort of elf or something the last time she was here. Ate something crazy. Where's she at?
Not here. Which is, once again, I would like to say, a whole lot better than how we're currently doing. It seems like the horrible haunted place seems to be directly connected to us being stuck here.
Well, okay, maybe there's some sort of connection. What about the bumbling fool in the knight in shining armor? I thought he was all that with the balloon. Where's that guy?
Okay. Let's not discuss that right now. It's a little too soon.
I was referencing Nox, Charlotte, in the most inappropriate way. Yeah, Anya still has a blank look on her face. Okay. All right. Well, maybe we should discuss things over a couple drinks. Maybe show you what's going on over at the maze. All right, come on. It's good to have company. Good to see you guys again. What have you guys been up to since the last time I saw you? What's it been? Couple of weeks? Couple of months?
Sorry, the baby's like full scream cry.
That's okay. I'll let Calliope respond then, or Charlotte.
We've been up to a lot of stuff. We've been trying to save people. I died again for a little bit. I got better, obviously.
You mean you got sick and got better? Like sick, like to the point of feeling like death, and you got better?
Sure, we can go with that.
All right. Well, you look great. You look much. I don't remember last time I saw you, to be honest.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. But yeah, no, it's quite a few things have been going on. We fought a bunch of stuff. We obviously won, and now we're here.
Well, obviously, I heard about Mr. Fist of the Twisted Sister getting taken down by that one over there. That was quite the spectacle, quite the rumor mill spreading about what kind of freak could take down the freak. But I mean no disrespect or nothing from that. But she is a freak. She was triple-breasted. I mean, she's kind of been spiraling since you took her down. Maybe you'd like to take a place. But anyways, yeah, just through this woods, yeah, right here. And you see, he points to the mirror maze. It's all boarded up, and it's got a sign on it that has some sort of draconic, or not draconic, infernal language written on it. And kind of puts his hands back in his pockets and leans forward on his heels, on his toes. Yep, there she is. Fully haunted. Something's going on. Can't seem to fix it. Maybe you guys can take a crack at it.
Rick's gonna heavy sigh and look at Anya. Would destroying ghosts make you feel maybe a little better?
I feel fine.
I have been doing a little bit of...
You look fine.
I've been doing a little bit of investigating myself, and I've come up with this little chart here. He pulls a crinkled piece of paper out of his pants, and he hands it to you, Valdrik.
You guys are frozen.
Ugh.
No.
Y'all are back.
Okay. He pulls a piece of parchment, crumpled parchment, out of his pocket and hands it to Valdrik. And I'm putting it in the chat. It's going to be in the Winds of Waydora chat. It's a Word document. Let me know if you can't. If it's formatted weird, I also have it in PDF form, so just let me know. But he hands that to you, Valdrik.
Ooh. Is this phasmophobia? I'm going to show it to everybody else, too. Everybody's getting it.
Yep, it's in the chat, in the Winds of Waydora chat, if anyone wants to look at it. As Valdrik kind of passes it around.
You've done a really good job here.
Yeah, I've had a lot of time while they've been on tour to,
Very
you know,
descriptive.
figure out the freaky thing going on. You know, I mean, this sort of stuff doesn't faze me, haunting, stuff like that. But, you know, I don't delve too deep since there were 2 deaths. But I've kind of narrowed it down. You can kind of tell I made this little chart here. Very smart man. You remember this about me. Made this little chart here. There's a couple of spirits that you can commune with. And then there's sort of some happenstances that happen with certain spirits, and I've kind of done a little guess and check in my time. Before this, I used to work as a private investigator, you know, that sort of stuff. But anyways, use that expertise to kind of fill out this chart. Maybe this can help you, maybe it can't, I don't know.
You know, we're here, we've got nothing better to do. And if it means that perhaps we'll be able to escape this place, perhaps we should.
Yeah, well, if you're telling me we're stuck, then there's a real problem. And I'm not just asking you now, I'm begging you, please figure out what's going on here. Maybe this has some sort of link here.
Top of the priority list, truly.
And I believe that's where we will wrap it up for the night. 20 minutes over, but that's okay. So you're going ghost hunting.
I'm so excited.
Happy Halloween.
We're gonna
I
go
like
ghost
this.
hunting. It's gonna be so much fun. Ro doesn't think
Okay.
anything would be very fun right now.
Rose like,
I have to wake
nah.
up early, so gonna do.
Look,
That was so fun.
Yeah.
I'll text y'all. That was so
I
fun. I laughed so hard earlier with the sack.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
With the sack.